Have you ever measured like an average? I always wondered, maybe there's somebody that's done it. Is it jumping that shoulder 6,000th average, 5,000th, 8,000th? Did anybody ever test that?
That can be different from chamber to chamber too. But of course, that's why the fire formed brass is supposed to be more accurate, because if you have a 6.5 PRC and your chamber might be on the deep side, maybe it is moving 6 thou. But if all of those are consistent from one piece to another, that doesn't matter a lot.
And there's just a bunch of fucking tofu eating, fucking man bun wearing dorks and no pussy at all. Yeah.
Hold it up, baby! Is he down? Is he a big one? Is he down? I'm trying to get the damn shot.
Bullshit, man. Look at the thing.
4 more shorts. Yeah. That sack's fucking hanging out. Don't fucking doubt the fucking 6 millimeter. Shoot him, shoot him. All right, hold on. Hold on. Let's go. Let's go.
Those fucking Amish would have shot that motherfucker.
Got a face only mother can love.
That's the 3rd time I've heard this intro, and I always catch something new. But I noticed that they put when Neil scared you with the porcupine in there.
Oh, yeah?
I didn't hear that one before.
I don't even remember getting scared with a porcupine.
Oh, we have video evidence.
Huh.
Remember when we walked up and he goes, in the dark?
Okay, maybe. What I do remember about porcupines is you missing one at like 10 yards away. I was just telling somebody this story.
10 yards?
Yeah, they were like, how did he miss it 10 yards? I was like, I don't know. He's pointing right at it. He even had like a stable support. He just couldn't fucking shoot it. I don't know what's going on.
Those are lies. All stable.
Yeah.
The truck's running. I got a door frame I've never shot off of, and it was probably about 60, 80 yards.
Okay, let's even say it's 60 yards. Let's give you 60. Mr. Long Range fucking killer.
What happened?
60 yards, stable car door. You're not offhand.
Stable car door. The car was running.
You're not offhand, though, is the point.
Bumbling around. I did miss.
Let's even put a little bit of a wobble zone in there. It's still 60 yards.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a 2-inch wobble zone. Even a 3-inch wobble zone. Mm-hmm. That's a pretty big porcupine to miss.
There's a moving porcupine. And we've seen.
He was doing a little circle like this.
And we both know we've seen them haul ass.
They are fast as fuck. They're way faster than you think.
Like, I know American porcupines. I've never seen one move as fast as the one coming out of that field. So
yeah.
That's pretty much what mine was doing.
There was like a hyena hot at his tail.
It was a Carl Lewis. That shows my age. The Carl Lewis.
Carl Lewis.
Yeah. You remember Carl Lewis?
How about like the Usain Bolt of porcupines?
We'll say they had a baby.
Uh-huh.
Carl Usain Bolt. Anyways, Jake got scared by a porcupine. That's
but I was trying to explain to somebody how you missed the porcupine at that close of a distance. They couldn't really.
I'm not used to shooting under 100 yards.
That could be a good
I really got no excuse. I don't know what the fuck happened. But all that mattered is I screwed you out of your shot. That's what I find funny.
Yeah, I did get screwed out of a shot. I was lined up good too. Talk about a fucking shaking car not being able to get your shot off.
That's my fat ass jumping on the back.
Yeah.
And then who is it? Not Neil. It was his brother, Peter, pulled me up on the back of that. Uh-huh. I'm like, well, help me the fuck up there, dude. Get up here.
They just wanted a porcupine to die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are funny. I have those. I need to bring those in here.
We're already fucking loud. I'm already crying.
Yeah. I remember we were going
to talk about some scary movies.
Yeah. Before the scary movies, I want to talk about your contacts.
Oh.
That you put them in your eye and you leave them there for fucking 6 months.
Yeah, so the question you asked me was, why didn't I get LASIK? And my response is because I take 2-week disposables and I put them in my eyeballs and I don't think about them until they start to hurt, which usually takes somewhere between 2 and 3 months. I guess depending on the usage or whatever.
And these are disposable every day?
No, 2 week.
2 week.
Well, you're supposed to take them out every day. Yes, but they're supposed to. These are not day disposables like where you put a new pair in every day. You take them in and out, and then they're supposed to last for 2 weeks.
So you don't worry about getting like a fucking eye-eating bacteria that eats your fucking cornea out?
It's funny because I've had a number of infections in my eyes that were so fucking bad that I'd have to, I have the contacts out and like I could barely open my eye because the light just killed you. Like I've had bad infections That was only when I touched my eyes every day. Since I went to this process, I've never had an infection because I literally don't touch my eyes. I put a drop in the morning and I'm good all day.
Gotcha.
So then right when I want to change my pair out, usually I'll fill them like the day, like I'll fill them today and in the end of the day, and then the next morning I'll change them out. So I wash the living shit out of my hands and then I swap them real quick. And
that's bizarre.
It's funny because I know I have calluses on the underside of my eyelids because when I take the contact out and then I blink, I can feel my eyelid go across my eye.
Like dragging across it? Oh.
Yes. But like right now, like I feel nothing. Like I don't feel a contact. I don't feel like I have contacts in. It doesn't bother me.
So if you got LASIK, that callus would just scrape your LASIK off.
Maybe. It's been a long time, dude. I told you so since I was in 7th grade, but I haven't been doing it this way since maybe for 15 years. And it's always been the same. It's called AccuView Oasis. It's been the same brand basically since that brand came out, since that Oasis version of AccuView came out. I've been wearing that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Enhance your shooting experience with STOCKY'S stocks. Are you tired of struggling with mediocre rifle stocks that hinder your performance? Imagine having a high-quality rifle stock that not only enhances your accuracy, but also provides superior strength in a lightweight build. STOCKY'S Stocks offers a wide range of premium rifle stocks manufactured with hand layup carbon fiber construction, a patented carbon fiber AccuBlock, and multiple finish options. Whether you're a long-range shooter or a hunting enthusiast, our stocks are perfect for you. Experience unmatched precision and durability with STOCKY'S stocks. We provide stock installation instructions, technical support, and guidance to help you choose the right stock for your rifle. Upgrade your shooting game today with STOCKY'S stocks.
Well, I would expect that that's not the norm.
Actually, so they gave me a year supply. So when I moved here, I still had regular insurance with the other job, right? So when I moved, I got one eye exam when we moved up here. They gave me a year supply of contacts. I'm at the end of that year supply now.
Oh, you're shitting me.
And I've lived here for 6 or 7 years.
Jesus.
So that's how long that year supply lasted me.
Yeah, your eyes are fucked.
No, like they've actually been getting like progressively better. So that I was telling the doctor, I think, because my eye is cone shaped, right? I told the doctor because my contact's always there. I think it's pushing my eyeball back and around. But it gets a little better. Like every like I'll go. I think now I'm like a 5.75, so negative 5.75, something like that. But back in the heyday, it was like a 7.50.
So as you're saying, as you age, your eyes are getting better.
That's correct.
What's the name of that movie with Brad Pitt where he fucking
when he gets younger
backwards?
Yeah. That's
what's happening there.
I couldn't tell you what it is. Well, I'll tell you also this. So I've had high pressures in my eyes ever since I was young. So when they shoot that puff of air in there and they every time they do that to me at an eye exam, they freak the hell out because they think I have a big problem because my pressures are very high.
You have a big problem.
But I'm sure, yeah. this will probably all culminate to something really bad later in life, but
that's weird.
That's the current situation.
Okay, so on to movies. We talked about them. It's a dude's name too that aged backwards. Something. Anyways, doesn't matter. I asked you because let me give you a synopsis of Jake's life. Jake comes to Unknown Munitions. He bitches that I'm late or not here. He goes home and apparently all he fucking does is watch movies. Is that the synopsis?
Well, because I have no life. Like if I'm not here at work, I don't. And other than hunting, like I really don't have nothing to do.
So then he berates me about fucking not watching movies because I asked. We had a conversation before the podcast. Give me your top 3 horror movies, and between him and Emily, they ripped off like 7 or 8 or 9 or 10
good ones.
Good. I will say this: Jake I can't remember the one you told me was total shit, but the other one was really good. The goat one was pretty good.
That's the witch.
The other one was total shit, but I can't remember what it was.
I would never give you a shit movie.
So
speaking of shit movies, you did give me one movie suggestion in your entire life. And it was the worst fucking movie I have ever seen. The grossest, off the wall shit. I'm going to tell him.
The Human Centipede.
It's called The Human Centipede.
Worth the watch.
Oh, no, it's not. But if you want to see some nasty shit.
If you like Saw on an extreme other level, it's the movie.
There's nothing that compares, dude. I've seen a lot of movies in my life. As far as the weirdness of even the idea or that somebody could even think this movie up, So nasty.
There's morbid people out there.
This is really weird.
It's worth the watch.
This had to be somebody's fucking nightmare that they happen to remember when they woke up.
I want a listener to watch that movie, please, and then pipe your impression of that movie, or not your impression, but your thoughts on that movie.
Human Centipede. And I was a dumbass too. I actually bought it on iTunes. I should have. It was like $1.99 rent or $5.99 buy. I was like, oh, I'm gonna pop for the $6. Let me buy it.
But that goes on to another level. What I said about all you do is go home and watch movies. How many fucking movies do you have on your iTunes or your Apple account?
It's something like 800. There's a reason though. So I used to travel for a living.
Right.
And I'm on like an airplane for like 150,000 miles a year. So I watched movies when you were on
I'm not talking shit about that. I think that's totally fine, but I don't know anybody else. Like we were traveling somewhere. I think it was the first time we went to Peterson Brass.
Uh-huh.
And Jake fucking says something about a movie. And he's like, you want to watch a movie? Maybe it wasn't them, but it was on a trip.
We were hunting.
Maybe we were hunting. And then he fucking scrolls. And it's not like, okay, I have some movies. Fucking 10 minutes later, Jake is still scrolling through all the fucking movies that he has. And I'm like, do you own every fucking movie that's ever been out?
I own a lot of good movies.
Yeah, I've never seen that before.
And I wish I could delete the Human Centipede, but it will not let me delete movies from my library.
You need to watch it.
It's just there. No.
Yeah.
Fuck. It's
gross, dude.
It's like a gag reflex right now just thinking about the movie.
It tells you how fucked up we are as humans. Yeah.
On to other scary movies. So we brought up a lot of movies.
We said I wanted your top 3, and you kind of narrowed it down. But what is your top 3 right now?
I told you Hereditary.
Yep. Got that
Hereditary. The same director that did Hereditary did the movie Midsommar. It's Midsommar, which actually has some I would call them realistic ideals or realistic like culture ideals where. And don't quote me exactly, but basically they break your life up into thirds. Mm-hmm. Like you have your young third, your productive third, and then you're basically you need to die.
Yeah, you're just a fucking useless eater or whatever.
Yeah, like the useless eater, like the Illuminati shit. Yeah. So that's I'm gonna tell you one scene in there. There's this couple and there's a big ceremony. And there's a couple and it's their time to go. But the people that are there that came to see this town, they don't know what's happening. So they're up on this cliff. And all the people are down below, and there's this big fucking rock, like right in the middle of everybody. Well, it's exactly positioned, so when these motherfuckers jump off, they hit the rock, and they hope that they die on impact. Well, let's just say that one of them did not die on impact, and they go ahead and finish them off. But it's intense. So, like, you reach the part of your life where you're no longer productive to society or to the world, and it's time for you to end your life.
Yeah, I've seen that one. It's good.
Okay, so Hereditary is the one I'm saying though. That's not this other one wasn't really scary.
No.
It has that really trippy sex scene in the end. Do you remember that?
Yep.
Yeah, so we'll just take Hereditary. That's one of them. Smile. If you haven't seen Smile, and I think there's a second one in the theater right now, Smile is good. It Follows is one you also haven't seen.
Which I've never even heard of.
It Follows was good. And what was the other list that I gave you there? Did you write it down?
No.
You didn't fucking write it down?
My mind.
Obviously not, because
I only had 3.
There was another one.
There was the one I asked you about, the people that had blindfolds on.
Oh, yeah, that was...
But you said it's not scary.
Damn, I said the name of it earlier. Now it's gone.
Sandra Bullock. Something with
Birdcage.
Yeah,
and I think there's a Birdcage too.
Yep.
It was a good movie. It was a really cool idea. And but it never goes on to explain if like they're angels that come down to... I tried to read a little bit into it after I watched the movie, but I like to understand, like sometimes you watch a movie and you don't understand everything that happened. If you go on Wikipedia and you read like the plot.
Well, did you do any research on the Human Centipede after that?
Fuck no. No, I'm lying. I did. I did. And when I typed it in, all it brought up was like porn shit. Like they were duplicating the Human Centipede idea in porn movies.
I could see that happening.
Yes,
exactly. A little different.
Exactly. But okay. Nasty.
You brought up another one. I can't remember what it was, but I only want to keep 3 in my head because it'll take me a month to watch those.
Talk to Me.
That's what it was. The Hand.
Talk to Me with the Hand is a good scary movie. I also told you about God damn it, the one that has a few of them.
Saw?
No. We'll
The Conjuring?
Conjuring.
Yeah.
Conjuring's pretty good too. But I said I watched Sinister. I looked at like 4 or 5 top 10 lists, and Sinister tended to be towards the top of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That was not that scary.
Yeah, but you gotta like look at like people's time frames and what they're doing. Like when like the Blair Witch Project came out, remember that? Like, the
ending, fucking intense.
Yeah, like I'm in the woods a lot, and I've to this day I spend more than most people in the woods. I would say over my life. I'm 48. I've never seen anything I couldn't like say what it was. I've never seen Bigfoot. I've never seen anything. I've never seen nothing that I couldn't explain logically.
Yeah.
And Blair Witch Project, I was like, oh, then I started thinking about that shit.
Oh, man.
So
there's another one that's really similar. I'll find the name of it for you, but it's these guys go on like a guy's trip out. It's a backpacking trip. And they start walking through the woods. They get lost. Somebody hurts their ankle. They find this really weird house, weird shit going on in the house. And then they get to let's just say that there's this big demon that these people are worshiping in the middle of the woods and nobody really knows about. I won't give much more away, but you
don't know what it's called?
I'm going to find it for you.
Well, did you ever, like I'm thinking of all of them through my, life of movies, to the movie where there's like 5 of Final Destination. Did you ever watch those?
Those are all right.
Did you
these
like
are kind
those?
of like, these are kind of back when rap was good. These are kind of those movies back then.
Was rap ever good?
But there was a time like Nelly, like high school, like Nelly.
I wasn't in high school.
Do you even know Nelly?
Like Beastie Boys?
It's getting hot in here. So take out, you could understand what they were saying.
Please don't rap again. Yeah, I know that song, but I liked, I used to like Eminem before.
I worked on Nelly's bus.
Liberal. Oh, did you?
Yeah. Before he got,
Is he got a walker out there still rapping, or how he's rolling?
I don't think there's too many songs with him anymore, but.
What like Diddy? Are you a Diddy fan?
I only been to one party. That was the last one.
There's a lot of shit. LeBron James, Kevin Hart. There's a lot of shit coming down the pipe. Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
A lot of shit be interesting who gets called into that courtroom.
I'm sure there's a lot of video proof of a lot of shit. Same situation with Epstein. It'll be interesting to see what Trump does when he gets elected on the Epstein situation. Elon Musk said that there's a lot of rich people that are scared to death that the truth comes to light.
Yes, Trump said it's coming out.
Yes.
But he I love Trump, obviously. Vote for Trump. Go vote next week. I don't know when this podcast's coming out, but it'll probably be too late for that. But what I didn't like about Trump and the Joe Rogan podcast, I think he did a great job.
I was going to ask you about that because I figured you listened.
But he didn't. He kind of backpedaled a little bit about the JFK files, which I think need to be released. But he said there's some people still alive that it would affect. Well, I think who gives a fuck?
Yeah, that's quite a while ago.
If there's people still alive, does that mean the government did it?
Yeah.
Is what does that mean?
Yeah.
That there's people still alive that it would affect.
Yeah.
How would it affect them?
Yep.
So that means that there's some fucking foul, obviously there's some foul play. But why? I don't like that backpedaling part.
Yeah.
Let's fucking release them. Let the cards fall where they may, because there's a government fucking cover up. We all know that.
Let's start with Epstein.
Yeah.
And then whoever's left after that,
yes,
once everybody
Epstein,
falls.
And I want the real Epstein, yes. And I want the real UFO file dumped out.
Oh yeah.
Like they're still holding shit back.
Well, that would be an interesting topic.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not like you listen to Joe Rogan.
So are you an alien believer? I was just watching.
If I percentage wise, I'm like right on the line. I'm like 51% no, 49% yes. Like on Bigfoot, I'm like 99% no, 1% yes. So aliens dude, there's a big universe out there. I don't know, but
it's a lot bigger than anybody even actually thinks.
Dude.
It's hard to picture.
No, you can't even. Our mind doesn't even fathom.
It is nearly infinite.
Yeah. So I believe that there is other intelligent life. Yes.
What's crazy to think is that we need to not get too deep into this shit. But what's crazy to think is that as light travels, right, like a light year, like there's stuff like we get to see new stuff every year,
every day.
Every day, yeah. It's basically as everything is expanding and more light is reaching Earth, like the light that's reaching Earth tomorrow from the furthest distance that light could have traveled since the start of time. Basically, you're seeing new shit every day because we haven't seen it all.
Billions and billions of fucking universes out there.
Yeah.
Or not universes, but solar systems.
We're not nearly intelligent enough to talk about these type of topics.
Now we're stupid when it comes. Like, I don't know anything about
We're we-totted when it comes to,
What'd you say?
We-totted.
We-totted.
So so the whole idea of aliens. So I listened to a guy talk about all the things that had to come into play to create complex life like we are on planet Earth, and that for all those pieces to line up in a row, it's like a 1 in a quadrillion lottery, basically. But the universe, it's not just, the term is not even universe. The term is galaxy. The term is, there's bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. The whole thing, the best way I've heard it broken down was, don't quote me on the dude's name, but it was the black dude that's on Rogan sometimes that has, I think it was Jordan Peterson, him and they were arguing about, not arguing, they were having a conversation about God and natural selection and Darwin and blah, blah, blah. And basically they came, and don't quote me because it could be a hodgepodge of podcasts that I'm putting together here, but they claim that there's no freaking way that this was just natural, natural selection and adaptation. That there had to be a superior, supreme being that made this.
That's what I'm saying, is that the number of things that had to happen in perfect harmony to produce us here today, that it's nearly impossible without outside assistance.
That's so far out of my brain power. So
definitely,
we are still doing what we're actually talking. We're supposed to talk about guns and hunting and shit like that. So we should probably do that. Something we know a little bit more about. But we did a Q&A. I don't know when this one's going to come out, but this is a follow-on because we still have a whole bunch of, we do a bad job of doing the speak pipes and the Q&As. So Emily, she is our new social media gal, and I'm pretty sure we introduced her before, but she does a much better job of organizing them for us, so we appreciate it.
Much better than the last guy, in case he's listening.
Fucking lootly. So you want to do the text or you want to do the speak pipes first?
It's up to you.
Let's hit some speak pipes.
Speak pipe.
Brian and Jake, listen to your podcast. You're talking about off-the-shelf ammo. And while I completely agree 100%, there was a time I traveled to Idaho to get off for an elk hunt. I had my 300 Ultra Mag and loaded ammo. Went out, stopped in Cache Valley to shoot with a friend a couple days before the hunt. Got mixed up, ended up sending my box of 50 rounds of ammo home with my wife.
Oof.
By the time I realized it, the day before opening day, and I had 2 rounds of 300 Ultra Mag in the magazine of my rifle. And that's it. So the next morning, it's COVID time, so there wasn't shit for ammo. I went to Sportsman's there in Idaho in hopes I could at least find one box of 300 Ultra in case I had to shoot a bear or some shit. And yeah, nothing on the shelf. That was the one time it would have been nice to have something on the shelf. Thanks, guys. Love the podcast. Keep it up.
Well, I would say that, statistically, one time doesn't matter. But I don't. Now I go in every time I stop at a place that we're going hunting, and there's a sporting goods store that I stop in. I go look and see what they have.
Yeah,
and I still haven't seen.
What if they have some 6UM?
I hope so. The 6UM, like, not to get off on another topic, but the 6UM is, the brass is coming to seed here pretty soon. They should be shipping us actual head stamp brass, a few hundred pieces for testing this week. And we've had a debate about this, and it this morning the solution is out there. We found it, I guess. But so the brass is going to be neck down to 6mm. So all you have to do to make a 6UM is fire form it. Well, then partway through, I brought it to Jake's attention, and I don't know if you thought about it before. You can say if you had or not. But I'm gonna let you think you only had the idea. No, I pretty much did. You'd have said something. But I said there's a lot of people that just want 6 brass, and we thought about making. Let's put half of it 6 half of it 6UM. Yeah. But I will give you the idea. You had the idea that why don't we? There's so many variances of the Reamer spec for a 6 and no brass in particular that matches it. Yeah. It's all over the map, and nobody's making it, so they all had to neck it down, and they either had to. You're still fire forming at that point. Then you still got to fire form the brass. Technically, you probably got to fire form it, because there's going to be all different kinds of sizes. But we're going to make a 6 You can buy it with the 35. I think it's 35 degree shoulder. No, it's 30 degree. 30 degree shoulder, or you can buy it and fire form it yourself. Or I'm sure will offer a fire form version of it for sale.
Yes.
So basically, that will be the spec for 6 brass, whether you want the 40 degree shoulder or the 30 degree shoulder.
Yeah,
we'll offer it. But the one we tried it in, like I said, there's 20, probably more than that. Reamer specs was 6,000 at the shoulder neck junction, 6,000 too long for that 6 SOM.
Now I'm going to try to explain this in a way that people can actually understand.
Simply, let's hear it.
What
a dick!
You fucking ran. You're so all over the place.
Yeah.
So
I do like to ramble.
So 6
Yep.
Otherwise known as 6 SOM improved.
Mm-hmm.
However, after final development, the neck shoulder junction, the shoulder in general is further forward than what a normal SOM is. That had to do with the development of the actual stamped 6 brass.
That we know of.
Yes.
We don't know for sure. There could be a reamer out there that fits it. It's fine.
But because we think the 6 brass is a bit longer to fit in a 6 SOM chamber, we're going to continue calling it 6 but we're going to have a 40 degree shoulder and a normal 30 degree shoulder reamer.
Mm-hmm.
The 30 degree shoulder reamer would not require you to fire form in any way, shape, or form. So you can call it a 6 SOM. It's a bit bigger than a 6 PRC, but it's basically a 6 short Magnum. And you'll be able to shoot that immediately with head stamp brass.
That's what I just fucking said.
No, that's not what you said.
Almost like carbon copy.
I didn't understand it. So anyway, so 6 it'll be 6 head stamp either way, but you can have a 30 degree shoulder or a 40 degree shoulder as it was intended, as is the God's gift or God's greatest cartridge, according to Ryan.
I don't make the rules, but I'm just going to put it out there that basically I'll say it one more time. With the 115 D-Tech nose ring, you have 300 ultra performance at 1,200 yards with 6.5 Creedmoor recoil.
Okay. Well, yeah. So for 6 SOM in general, there's no such thing as a 6 SOM. There is no SAMI spec, and there is no brass, which means that people are creating reamer specs. Whether they just simply squeeze it down to a 6 millimeter from an original 7 SOM or whatever it is they choose to do. There is no actual spec. So with the 6 what we have is we have head stamped brass with a spec with reamers and dies to follow that match the spec. So it's not SAMI, but it's as close to SAMI as you can get with a head stamped brass, a brass spec, a reamer spec, and available dies.
And that's the next question is like, what do you get over, the 6.5 PRC, a 6 PRC? And I think it's like 4 or 5%.
Yeah, it's not much. But again, there is no such thing as a 6 PRC. Like there is no 6 PRC brass. This is where we have the one up right now. No matter what anybody else is doing with necking things down or necking things up or blowing out shoulders, there is no specification. And again, there's not for the 6 but once you have head stamp brass, that's pretty much the spec at that point.
Yeah, and the 6 PRC, there's even more reamer specs.
Exactly.
All over the map.
Exactly.
But I'm a big fan of the 6.5 SOM in general.
Oh, yeah. We have a 6.5 SOM improved as well. Yep.
Mm-hmm. So I guess that on that is most of the time the shit's on the shelf. So don't worry about it as much from the original question.
Yeah, from the speak pipe.
All right, should we answer one of these?
Go.
Oh, I hate no name stuff. If you're going to fucking send us a comment, balls, man up and put your name on it. So Kyle F. Q's 8.6, 1/3 twist rate, and the claims of wildly more damage wound channel size. What are your thoughts on it, and has any testing been done with it? The Q's post and Kevin's the owner, look pretty promising in killing regards.
What are your biased and unbiased options of performance of a 6? Okay.
That's a different question.
Different question.
Yeah.
So the guy who's doing a lot of work on that is something ballistics. What is it?
I don't have any idea.
Discrete ballistics. He's the guy developing those bullets with the ultra low expansion feet per second required made for those 8.6 blackout. Like I can think of something down to like 300 feet per second. And it just creates that big ass flower petal. And they're killing pigs and all kinds of shit with it. Now, obviously, that's not a long range performance cartridge. So you're just talking about short range hunting is really what it's applying to. And it does have this big ass flower petal that's spinning at a slow rate and supposed to cause a lot of damage and devastation.
I'm ignorant to all of it, so I don't really have a comment. My question is what was it designed for?
Well, an 8.6 blackout is a 6.5 Creed up to a 338, basically. So it was supposed to be another, a 300 blackout, but just it's a 338 blackout.
Well, and I have, like I said, I am ignorant to this whole thing. I've heard about it, read a little bit about it, but let's look at the 300 blackout. It is losing steam fast. I don't imagine this will be.
Yeah. There's not different. A lot of brass sources right now. And then the big kicker is Hornady so as I understand it, Q partnered up with Hornady to create this spec for this cartridge because it was based off the Creedmoor. There was some partnership there. I think something fell apart in the partnership, and they were supposed to be the brass source, and all that kind of went to shit. But it was
Kevin. Something fell apart. I can't imagine.
Yeah. So whatever happened there, it is what it is. But what I know today is that I saw some posts on Instagram, and everybody's kind of shitting on so Hornady went out of the way to create the 33 ARC.
Oh, they did.
Which is a knockoff of the 8.6. Emily, would you pull up 33 ARC for me? Hornady 33 ARC. So they just released this.
No shit.
And it's a big fucking shit on the original plan to do the 8.6 blackout with Q. Now, somebody could phone in here and tell us, leave us a message and tell us how wrong we are.
Go back and then click on right there.
Right there, yeah. 338 ARC. So this literally, the 338 ARC is the 8.6 blackout that Hornady fucked Q over on and just decided to do on their own.
Holy shit, that's the world we live in.
It is. So there's the little fella.
Again, it's like, what? I guess.
What is the point?
What? I don't know. Tell me, people, what is the point? I don't know the use case for that cartridge. Yeah. I guess shooting, they're using it, they have it in a predator thing. Is it, do people shoot predators with those?
Pigs, dude.
Okay, but like, that looks like coyote hunting.
Yeah, that's a big bullet for a coyote.
I mean, maybe do you think it'd be less fur damage? I don't know anything about that.
I don't know. But there's guys that are shooting coyotes at 500 yards, 1,000 yards with a 22 Creedmoor, right? Like, that's not a 1,000-yard wolf cartridge or a coyote cartridge, What is the base? What's the grain of those bullets? Maybe they're fucking 300 grainers.
Oh, shit.
Hey, pull up now a Discreet Ballistics. Yeah, it's a 307 grade subsonic. Did you see that?
I saw that. That's crazy.
Now, Discreet Ballistics guy is the one that's been showing like the flowers and the... Trying to find something on there for 8.6 blackout. So yeah, so he's doing like the big opening flower petal type of bullets, but it's the same as that, the 300, it's the sub X bullet, 190 sub X.
Yeah. So
they just showed there, that was what, a 306 sub X?
8.6 300 blackout target loads.
There you go, down low. 8.6 blackout, yeah.
Let's click on that picture again. Huh. That looks very similar, maybe a little bigger than the ARC. The past, the future.
Huh.
I don't know. Anyways. I guess, it has to, like I said, I told you I'm kind of like an addict. I'm like a pinpoint focused on things. That shit doesn't intrigue me.
When it comes to hunting for us, you have to have a range.
Yeah.
You have to have the ability to shoot within a range. Now that if guys want to shoot a fucking white-tailed deer from a tree stand with an 8.6 blackout or with a 338 ARC, I mean, that's fine.
I know 3 different dudes have shot elk with a 300 blackout and none of them liked it.
Yeah.
That was not good.
Yeah. That whole, the subsonic low velocity expanding bullet spinning slowly. Like that's why it has to have a 1 in 3 twist just to stabilize that size of a bullet.
Do you think now that Hornady has kind of just said, fuck it, while I hold my beer, that the 8.6 will probably go away?
I don't know. There wasn't a lot of brass sources for it. Like I think there was a lot of excitement about it in the AR community, for like home defense and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the brass support did not come in. I think Starline was the only one making brass. But now that Hornady comes out with a spec, normally that means...
I guess dumping somebody at close range in your house would be...
Yeah. Well, that's what the 300 like subsonic 300 blackout is meant, because I'm going to shoot you in the house. It's not going to go through you and through the wall. It ends with you.
I still just use a 223.
Well, fuck.
You know what's funny about that is I won't use it. Like, I go around with form about this. Like, I won't use a 223 hunting because it limits me.
Yeah.
Well, in your house, it don't limit you.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Put the questions back up, please. You're up, Jake.
What are your biased and unbiased options of performance of a 6UM versus 6 PRC or any other 6mm wildcat? And are any of them needed for anything versus 6 Creedmoor inside of 800 yards on elk? Well, we kind of got into that a little bit as far as the wildcats go. So with all of those, with all of the 6 short Magnum cartridges out there, whether it be PRC, SOM, UM, whatever the situation is, there really is no standard for any of them. So we're hoping with the 6UM, now that we have our own head stamp brass, is to create somewhat of a standard there. For a 6 Creed versus a 6UM or 6 PRC, let's pretend you had a 20-inch short Magnum 6 and you had a 24-inch 6 Creedmoor. I don't think there would be a whole lot of difference there.
No.
Because you're supposed to get 25 feet per second per inch. So if I added 100 feet per second to a 20-inch short Magnum, you might be another 100 feet per second short, but you're going to be pretty close.
Yeah. But let's like go with what everybody's going shorter barrels. So we're all cutting them off all at 20. Let's just say everything's even. I don't think a 6 Creedmoor, it'll work. Yep. But I like the danger space of the 6UM or the 6 PRC.
Well, it's 40 grains versus 70 grains.
Yep.
Almost twice the case capacity.
And I'm going to guess, say we hot rod load a 6 Creed, 20-inch barrel, let's just say a 108. It's going to probably be mid-20s, 29, 50, 29, I'm guessing. Mm-hmm. Don't know, haven't made one, haven't shot that. And then the 20-inch 6UM is going to be 33, 32, 50. Mm-hmm. So run the ballistics. And that's with a 115 against a 108. Mm-hmm. And the 6 PRC is going to be right underneath, like let's say 100 feet per second slower. So 3150, 3200.
Yeah, because the PRC has less case capacity than a SOM.
Yep. So my opinion depends. 800 yards is a freaking long shot.
Yeah.
Tanya shot 2 elk at 650 and 700 with a 6 Creed at 108s. And to me, that was the ragged edge of where I would shoot that bullet. If I knew I was going to shoot to 800 yards on an elk with a 6 Creed, I'd use a 115 DTAC because the slower it goes, it seems the better it gets tumbling wise. But it wouldn't be a rifle that I would plan on shooting elk at 800 yards. I would get the 6UM or 6 PRC or 6 SOM that we're going to make here soon, the 6UM SOM. That's confusing.
It's just a 6UM and you have a 30 or a 40 degree shoulder.
So we can call it the 6UM 30 and the 6UM 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the 30 requires no fire forming. You're ready to shoot. And the 40, you got to blow it out.
Yes.
Even then, with only having to blow it out from a 30 to a 40, I bet you come up with a load that shoots really well as a fire forming load that you could actually hunt with.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
To kind of confuse this even more, the reason that I got turned on to, besides Jim's daughter shooting all these elk with the smaller calibers, is I've told this story before. My uncle shot an elk at 970. Anyways, it was an epic fuck up with a 300 PRC. We had to walk back to the truck, get a 6 XC, which is basically a carbon copy of a 6 Creedmoor, go back out, and at 970, 980-ish, he shot that elk with the 115 DTACs. And it was like 2840, 2850, and it broke both shoulders with that 115. So if I'm going to have to shoot, and I don't know why you'd set up a gun that way, but you wanted to shoot 800 to 1,000 yards with a 6 Creedmoor, I'd use a 115 DTACs with the nose ring.
And maybe leave a bit of barrel on there if you want to keep the velocity up. Or,
yep. You know. 6mm they're killers. People, I mean, there's a reason they're super accurate. There's a reason why everybody uses a 6mm and PRS, and they're actually dang banned out of NRL Hunter because they are very accurate, great ballistics, good BCs, low recoil.
Hi, I'm Brent Jarbo, CEO of ADG. For the past decade, we've been dedicated to crafting the highest quality, 100% American-made rifle brass to meet all your hunting and long-range shooting needs. This year, we're excited to introduce our new 6.8 Western and 270 WSM cases. With over 250 years of combined industry experience, we're committed to excellence. Look for our distinct orange boxes wherever you buy your reloading supplies. Whenever you need quality rifle cartridge cases, choose ADG Premium Rifle Brass, where precision meets performance.
Okay, next is a no-name podcast. He's listening podcast topic. Has anyone got a 26 nozzler to shoot accurately? We have tried several different barrels with no luck, all on a bad action, all different loads and bullets. We actually, when you were doing the 6U, we looked at the 26 nozzler case.
Yeah, every time me and Blame necked it down, it would crack the neck.
Yeah.
It would crack the neck shoulder area.
Yeah, so bad brass to start was a bad way to start a project.
I don't know anybody that's had a 26 that shoots very much that's kept it very long. I think it's pretty much dying.
We don't load it at all. We get. I bet you in our entire fucking business history, we maybe loaded a few times. We definitely had a bucket of brass back there because one guy asked. But
it goes back to what we always said. We know before there was great brass suppliers that there is now. Is you needed a couple hundred rounds of Lapua or quality brass at the time, which they're pretty much it was Lapua, a little bit of Norma, and that was about it. And now we have ADG, we have Peterson. There's your other partner or company like the Alpha Munitions.
Yeah.
Anyways, that goes back to there's no brass for it. No, I haven't seen one that's shot accurately over a long period of time, so it's going to die because there ain't no brass support.
Mm-hmm. Can you get new brass to be as accurate and consistent as fire-formed reloaded brass? Like you guys, I have switched to just shooting new brass all the time. I like that I can get more speed out of it without getting pressure signs. Yeah, I think depending on whose brass you're using. I mean, ADG brass is extremely consistent from piece to piece and lot to lot. And like my 300 rum, that I don't choose just to shoot new brass. It literally is so hot that you can't shoot it a second time, basically. So it's new brass all the time.
Yeah.
It's very consistent. Single digit ESs.
Even with one shot, like I wouldn't reload Horn Day, but even like in the 6 Creed, or I've shot some 6.5 PRC Horn Day brass, factory ammo. It's been great.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you can definitely do that.
Yeah, but the reason why everybody says fire formed or reloaded brass, is more consistent is because it's been formed. All of it has been formed to your chamber by pressure. So you don't have to worry about manufacturing inconsistencies of one piece to another because every piece has been hammer forged, inside of your chamber.
Have you ever measured like an average? I always wondered, maybe there's somebody that's done it. Is it jumping that shoulder 6,000th average, 5,000th, 8,000th? Did anybody ever test that?
That can be different from chamber to chamber too, but of course, that's why the fire formed brass is supposed to be more accurate because if you have a 6.5 PRC and your chamber might be on the deep side, maybe it is moving 6 thou. But if all of those are consistent from one piece to another, that doesn't matter a lot. That's why Peterson makes long Win Mag brass and 7 Rem Mag brass because originally based off that 200 line on the belt, that shoulder is going to be moving fucking 20 thousandths forward or whatever it was. So they made long brass so the shoulder didn't move so much.
And then you have some people reloading, making factory brass every time they reload, bumping it back 6 to 8 thousandths.
Yes.
So that's a problem. Then you get the case separation.
Yeah. Well, the idea is to minimize the amount of brass movement to extend your brass life. So you don't want to bump at 8 thousandths or 10 thousandths. You're trying to bump it. In reality, you may not even need to bump it if it's still chambering in your rifle. But your idea is you bump it back to 0 or just 1,000th less.
Yeah, don't overwork that brass.
Yeah.
Still want to speak pipe. Ready?
Okay.
Hey, what's up, guys? I just want to start by saying I love your guys' shit, man. Everything you're doing for the community. I mean, the channel, the podcast, the perspectives, the data has changed the way that I'll think about gear, shooting, and hunting for the rest of my life. If I ever see one of you guys out in public by chance, drinks or protein shakes, whatever you're into, they're on me, man. So thank you. All right. So I have no experience hunting, no gear, nothing. I've got a AR-10 chambered in .308 that's right around 11 and a half pounds, and I'm currently in Colorado for work. I want to kill an elk, and I want to eat it. That's what I want to do. And I want to do it with the rifle that I built. After, looking into everything, I kind of realized this shit's expensive. So if at all, what's some gear that I can or should cheap out on? And what's some gear that I absolutely should not cheap out on? Or should I just wait another year and do the buy once, cry once, buy all quality stuff and just kind of delay my hunt another year. Thank you guys. Let me know what you think.
Man, that's a big question. From my side, I mean, I try to look at this. I own rock slides, so I get to see and feel and touch and use a lot of good gear. But the things not to go cheap on is pretty simple for me. Boots. Got to find boots that fit you, because if you can't walk, you can't hunt. Backpacks. If you're backpacking in, if you're day hunting, it's not a big a deal. But if you're backpacking in, you got to find a pack that fits you. Me and Jake, we like the way Kafaris fit us. We like the way the Exos fit us. Not so, I don't love the way the Stone Glacier fits me. I don't know if you ever use Stone Glacier, but you got to get a pack with weight to test that out, which is hard. So I would try to go to any place you can do it. If you're talking this year, so it's kind of too late. So you kind of got to just hopefully it fits you. Hopefully you can go try one on, find a buddy that has one. And the last thing would be your aiming device. Whatever you put on your AR with 308, which will kill an elk, you need to make sure that aiming device holds 0. Everything else, I would go cheap as you fucking can.
Yeah, the first thing that comes to mind is that I wear the same shit basically whether I'm hunting or working.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's the same fucking pants and t-shirts. So I don't spend a lot of money on clothes trying to get the next level shit. Carry your 308. The one thing that doesn't cost you a lot of money is to get stronger and get in shape. Mm-hmm. So if you get yourself in shape, you can save a lot of money by not having to buy lighter shit. So carry your heavy rifle, maybe some 185 juggernauts for your 308 there. Don't worry about the clothes too much, and everything Ryan said, a good pack and good boots, but a lot of times we waste a lot of money trying to be an ounce lighter for whatever fucking reason it is. So just get yourself stronger and in better shape, and that will actually save you quite a bit of money.
And to carry on getting stronger and better shape, that you need to go hunting this year, because hunting, there is a learning curve. So every year you can go hunting and spend time in the woods, you have a better chance of killing animals because the learning curve gets easier for you. So you need always buy tags. Equipment should be last. You know, obviously you need to be proficient with your equipment, but buy the tags, get the experience, go hunting.
Yes.
All right, one more speak pipe. Maybe.
Hey guys, Jake here. Love the podcast and the information you guys share every episode. Question is why we don't see a bunch of copycat Tika actions on the market, like we do with the Remington 700s. So, just looking to see what other kind of options are out there. Obviously love the Tika actions that I currently have, but just curious why that hasn't caught on like it has with the Remingtons. Appreciate any feedback. Thanks.
Have we talked about that before?
No, but we're going to answer your question here soon. There will be I don't know how far you wanted. How far are we away?
Realistically, probably third quarter.
I always go to Jake because I speed things up faster than they're actually going to happen. So I let Jake be the voice of reason on the actual deliverables.
Third quarter, there will be an answer to your question.
Yeah, there will be an answer for the Tika, American Tika.
Yes. It won't be called a Tika, of course. No, but it will have all the features that make you love a Tika.
Yes.
Mainly the bolt and the trigger.
Yes, and there is no American Tika at the moment.
There's no such thing as an American Tika, no. Yes. Tikas are made in Finland.
Mm-hmm. So I can't even think of an option like a Tika in America. Third quarter, as Jake said. More info to come.
Yeah, we'll definitely talk about it on the lead up, but we're making one. It's already in fucking process.
Yep.
It has begun.
Yep. And it will be no pre-sale, and it'll be tested well.
Yeah, there will be no pre-sale. Basically, we're also going to fill the hole in the market with aftermarket with availability of replacement bolts. So the bolt that we make will be able to go directly back into a Tika.
Correct. Boy, that's going to make a lot of fucking emails to answer for both of us.
Yeah, don't. We're not ready for that. I guarantee you it's fucking happening. So the whole idea of a left-handed 223, we will solve that problem. How about a bolt face that's not 223 but possibly a bit smaller? We'll solve that problem too. And the bolts will be replaceable and interchangeable.
Yeah. And you can buy it. You want to go to a Magnum from a standard? Bam.
Yes.
Yep. Or vice versa. But again, we share stuff faster than we should. So please don't email Jessica at UM or me, PM me on Rockslide or send emails to Jake.
When it comes time, there'll be lots of talk about it. It is off the ground though.
Yes.
On the move.
Okay. Adam Tucker. I have an old Remington 700 BDL chambered in 8mm Remington mag that I haven't used in a while.
Is that real?
Oh yeah.
8mm Remington mag.
Craig Boddington used to be a big fan. And I was thinking about getting it rebarreled to another cartridge, and I was curious if it's possible to get it rebarreled to a 6.5 PRC, and how much extra work would it be if would it take to modify the feed rails, if any, or would it be easier to choose a larger cartridge? I know the 7mm STW is easy button, but when it comes to the 7s, I think I'd get more use out of a 6.5. Thank you for taking the time to read this. I absolutely love the podcast. Keep up the work.
I don't think there's any. If he's talking about feed rail, well, maybe it's one of those ones where
it's long.
The magazine is not retaining either the internal or external mag is not retaining the ammunition. It's resting up on the bottom of the action.
If I recall, an 8mm is kind of like a 300 H&H, like it's long and tapered.
Oh,
and it's a Magnum. I'm 99 pretty sure about that. So
yeah, but so the action can be if you need to change over to a system where the magazine is retaining the ammunition, that would be the first thing. And there's probably going to need to be some work on the loading port on the bottom of the action. But it can be done.
Like when I look at that, I would just say, go buy a fucking Tikka 6.5 PRC.
Yeah, that'd be a lot easier place to start. That's for sure. Yeah, a lot of times if you have an old Remington like that, just sell that one. When it comes down to putting all the labor and work into making that into what you want.
Yeah, and it's like, is there any sentimental value to that? I don't know anything about the rifle, but damn, just keep it.
Yeah, like just from the action perspective, if you just buy a Tikka Action, the cheapest Tikka rifle on the market is $750. That's the MAP price for a Tikka T3X Lite. That's where you're starting there, and it could already be 6.5 PRC. We have those in stock right now.
And what would it be if he had to, he's going to put a new barrel on it, you're going to have to dick with it a little bit. What would that be coming out?
Yeah, I mean, a chambered and threaded barrel, Ace steel barrel from the start is $800. So it's already cheaper just to buy the Tikka. That's what we would say.
All right, go down a little bit more, Emily. Cole. Holy shit, Cole.
I got it. I'm reaching out today. I'm looking to build a rifle for Western hunting with a short barrel and be able to push a bullet around 2,800 to 3,000 feet per second. I hope I could get some good insight and thoughts for barrel length on the cartridges and bullets weight I'm looking at potentially doing. So he listed out a 6.5 PRC 140 Burger, 6.5 Psalm 140 Burger, 280 Ackley, 166 A-tip, 7 PRC 180 Burger, 300 PRC 215, 300 Norma 230 hybrid target. Also, if you have a strong recommended station on what cartridge or bullets I should go with, I will take it with high regards. Love your guys' podcast and has made me rethink a lot of things I need to put into this rifle.
He says, I also, if you have a strong recommendation station, what does that mean?
I think it was just supposed to be recommendation.
Oh, okay.
One word. It was probably doing talk to text.
Yes.
My first comment would be that is a wide range from a 6.5 PRC to a 300 Norma.
Yeah. And another thing I'd want to know is, does he reload? Does it say that in there? I'm reaching out with a short barrel. Blah, blah, blah.
No.
Is he hunting deer, elk? What's his goal? Because this is my opinion. Let Jake have his 6.5 PRC, 6.5 Psalm. If you're reloading, I would take a 6.5 Psalm. There's going to be plenty of brass in the world. I love 6.5 Psalms when I watch them do. Obviously, the 6UM is the daughter of the 6.5 Psalm, so I love that cartridge. But a 6.5 PRC with a 140 Burger VLD, I would probably change it to a 140/70 LDM, but would kill anything in North America. No problem. 1,000 yards if you do your part, which when people say you do part, they get irritated. But yeah, you got to practice with that gun. But you can do everything with a 6.5 PRC. Jake?
It sounds like he may not have a rifle at all to start. He's been doing a lot of research and he's confused about the size of cartridge and bullet that's needed to get the job done. So I would put him in, if somebody walks into the store today, they have no rifle and they want a Western hunting gun. I mean, 7 PRC is a pretty easy, I know that 6.5 PRC will get the job done just as well as you do, but some people, when they're on that 6.5 PRC, 7 PRC, 300 PRC research mission, I would probably, they're probably a little scared of the smaller ones. I'd put them 7 PRC, 180 hybrid, 180 ELDM in a Tikka. That's also the largest cartridge you could fit in a Tikka and do well with. So
my argument that would be, we already know the 6.5 PRC works with less recoil, so why not steer them to that direction to begin with?
It's a good point. Maybe 6.5, 7 PRC. I get the reason why I say it is because it is simply for this one reason. It's the spread of cartridges that he listed. So to go to the min or the max is probably not where he's going to end up. Just based off experience on looking at what the examples that he's giving. Yep. And I think a 7 PRC is probably a good compromise for the guy that thinks he needs a 30 and is scared of a 6.5 for elk.
I can't disagree with that. But I'd also say, man, how much do you shoot? Do you have a 223 or light kicking rifle to practice with? I do like burgers, but like in the PRC, the 7 PRC, I would say a 180 ELDM would better suit you for most North American hunting. And then, like I said, if you can go back to 4 or 5 years ago, I would have told you 300 PRC, 300 Norma, 300 Ultra, 338 Edge. But to me, that's just all unnecessarily cost and recoil. Okay, last one. You scroll down, Josh Hill, Emily. Good evening. I have recently found your holy crap podcast and have been listening to quite a few episodes. I'm looking to take the next step into long range shooting hunting. I just picked up a new X-Bolt. Why are you highlighting it? X-Bolt Western Hunter and 7 Rem Mag. It has a 1/8 twist. I am setting up to hand load. I currently have Retumbo RL22, IMR 7828. What bullet do you guys like, would use, recommend? Yeah, I cannot.
We'll just start there. Let's just start there.
What bullet do you guys like? Would you recommend?
7 Rem Mag with Retumbo is like a match made. They're like peanut butter and jelly. What does Gump say? Like peas and carrots.
Peas and carrots.
7 Rem Mag loves Retumbo, and anything between a 168 to 175 grainish. 175 Elite Hunter is a good choice. You have what is the ELDM right there?
175 ELDM.
No, 175 ELDX.
And 180 ELDM.
180 ELDM. 180 though, if depending on his mag, like I don't know if he's gonna have enough room in his mag.
I want to say those Brownings will fit him.
The next one down though was a 160, I believe, a 160 ELDM. Yes.
And there is nothing I said on that above the 180 and that there's a 175 Burger something, right?
Burger Elite Hunter.
That'd be a good one.
Yep.
Too.
Yeah, I'd stay away from the 168 VLD. That's probably the most common bullet people put in there, but I think we both have some bad experience with that. But a 175 Elite Hunter, 175 ELDX, a 180 ELDM if you can fit it, but you could go down to the 160 ELDM.
Yeah.
And the 7828 actually works really well. It's very accurate in that cartridge, but it won't give you the velocity Retumbo will.
7828 is also pretty temperature sensitive.
Yes.
Okay, I would mostly use the gun for spring bear hunting and deer hunting, but I do have an elk hunt lined up this fall. What do you think is a reasonable distance for this chambering with proper practice and me doing my part?
Oh, shit.
There's that doing his part.
Yeah.
Long ways. If you do if you really practice. Yards. Yeah. Like the conditions, you got to go out and shoot in the conditions. And if you're coming from I don't know where you're coming from, but you need to go out and shoot in canyons and wind and, canyons that cross canyons and lots of different shooting to shoot past 600-700 yards.
Well, yeah, he may be a shorter distance guy because he says, historically, I have loaded TTSX and Accumons. Well, that gives us a clue about the age there.
Accubombs. Accudongs.
But I'm open to recommendations. You guys seem to be pretty dialed in and do this a lot more than I do. I'm also looking into range-finding binoculars. My budget would allow me to be in the SIG Vortex range. Are these worthwhile, or should I suck it up until I can afford a higher dollar option? Thanks for all the great info and entertainment on the podcast. I think you guys suggest the Revic, right, as the lower-priced option?
Oh, it's not lower-priced. I mean, if your budget matters, you could get the Vortex. They actually do a good job of a smart rangefinder. They just take a long time for the solution.
How much are those?
Like 2,000-ish.
Well, what is the fucking Revic? I thought the Revic is 2,200.
I thought they're 28.
Huh.
Bring up the Revic binoculars, will you, Emily? I think they're around the higher, closer.
But if you're trying to shoot longer, stay away from the TTSX and the Accumons.
Yep, those right there. Click on them.
Oh, they might not give you the. Oh, did it say buy now? There you go.
Yeah,
$26.95.
Yeah, I think what are they called?
These will be the mid choice. The high choice will be the Swaros. Low choice.
Yeah, range finding, the Revic's hard to beat laser-wise. Glass-wise, it's hard to beat the Swaro, but you don't get a good laser. But the Vortex, if you're on a budget, I think they're around $2,000. So
what is it called? The Vortex. Look at Vortex range finding binoculars.
Fury.
Yeah, Fury HD.
Fury.
What are those?
Oh shit, they're $1,500. Yeah, but you can make a sandwich before you get an actual dope. You can actually make a peanut butter or a ham and turkey sandwich.
That's funny shit.
All right, you go back to the question, please. Because what Jake said is, it says, when you said, historically, I've loaded TTS-X and AccuBonds, but I am open to any of your recommendations.
Yeah.
The thing about that is, you understand why everybody keeps asking the same question to me. All I hear on you guys' podcast is match bullets. Match bullets kill just as effectively as any controlled expansion bullet on most North American game.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I recommend them. They actually give you a bigger wound channel.
Yeah.
So remember, it's placement, penetration, width. That's what you're looking for. Placement, you want to shoot it in the chest cavity.
I think no matter what, there's just a certain amount of people that have been set in their ways for a while and have experienced a lot of good kills with a TTS-X or an AccuBond. I think it's the some of those guys are gonna be hard to get to. It's once you ask the question, how do I shoot further? Like how do I extend my range? And once you want to get past 500 yards, it becomes exponentially more difficult as you pass that 500 just to add 100 yards and 100 yards and 100 yards.
Yes.
And bullet consistency has a lot to do with that.
Consistency, BC, when you have the controlled expansion, usually the BCs are lower.
Yep.
The higher you go, the more consistent the bullet is, the longer the bullet is, the more sleek it is.
Like you can have a fucking 2-inch gun with your TTS-X's at 100 yards, and you're still okay to 500 yards for the most part.
Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely.
Especially on an elk, but if not deer, I mean, if you have a 10-inch kill box, if you're 10 inches at 500 yards, and you could put every fucking round in those 10 inches, then you're gonna kill deer inside of 500. But after that, it drops off pretty quick.
Yeah, like you said, the peas and carrots from Forrest Gump.
Yeah.
I've shot a pile of freaking deer with 200 grain AccuBonds out to 600 yards, 588 BC, off the top of my head. Fantastic. I mean, they're big bullets. They did great. But as soon as you pass that, in my opinion, 500 yard mark, a lot of shit starts to matter that didn't matter sub 500. Hell, I've made bad wind calls at 400. So cheating that, that's why we like short, fast, little bullets. Or sorry, short, fast little guns. Is you shoot a 6UM, you get a pretty sleek bullet going really fast, less recoil, stacking the variables in your favor. But he said on those, are they worthwhile or should I suck it up and buy a high dollar rangefinder? I think buy what you can afford. Any of those are going to do. They all run AB on the lower end. The SIGs, the Fury, the Revic has its own computer, but they're all great. So whatever you can afford in that level will be fine.
It seems like it's kind of 1,500, 2,500, 3,500 is kind of like your little range there.
Yep.
So I guess it just depends on, and you could always resell those. And you're not going to get all your money back, but you're going to lose 30 or 30% maybe.
Yeah, you can resell everything. Facebook Marketplace, Rockslide Classifieds, and that shit goes like, you can sell anything, but you may lose a little bit. You get into the high dollar optics, it's, like 15, 20% you're losing. So it's less like Vortex. I've seen them at 50% cuts, but I think that there's so many good options that are good at range finding. You're a sucker if you don't have a smart rangefinder and you want to shoot past 500 yards. Because then you'd be like Jake a couple years ago going from his rangefinder to his Kestrel.
You got to learn that lesson though.
You do.
You got to learn the fucking lesson to move on.
The actual life lesson in the moment teaches you more than anything I could tell anybody.
Yep. Like Jessica should have shot that deer, but instead Mason had to shoot it just because he had more experience, moving quickly.
Yeah.
But
it goes back to like scopes losing zero until it happens to you in the moment and you have the aha moment.
Yeah.
I'm just a fat guy talking to you on a fucking podcast.
Exactly. Or until you see the 6mm bullet do the shit that it does, it's a hard idea to adopt. I would agree.
It is. Is there any more on the tech side? So we'll be done with those. Oh my God.
Still going. Here we go. The how not to waste powder episode was great, especially with the rule of thumbs around bullet weight for caliber and overbore. My question is, what about barrel length? Does a shorter barrel mean that you should use a faster burning powder within the acceptable range, all other factors being equal? That is not true. So we burn 98 grains of N570 in a 20-inch barrel out of a 300 rum. I say you're never going to beat that. So it doesn't really matter the barrel length as long as all the powder is being burned. So again, you can burn 100 grains of N570 in 20 inches. And even more importantly, do the factors stack? In other words, if you have an overbore cartridge and a heavy bullet, does that mean that you should start with the slowest powder possible? And conversely, do the factors cancel each other out? So an overbore cartridge, but a light for caliber bullet requires a slightly faster burning powder. He's really getting into the weeds here. So I guess I would say that none of what you listed there changes anything that we talked about before. In other words, if you had a 26-inch barrel or a 20-inch barrel with a 7 rem mag, or you had the 195 fucking burger, or you had the 150 burger, it's still retumbo. It's just adjusted, obviously, for your load.
Yeah, it wouldn't change just because it's overbore and short or heavy bullet.
If you're already in overbore for a cartridge, then you're already in the right powder because you're overbore.
Yeah, and the 300 Ultra is a great example of burning all the powder and increasing velocity. Well, even in the 6UM, we went all the way till we couldn't fit in a 16 and a half inch barrel.
Yep.
We had 69 grains of 570, and it was still, I mean, it was at pressure, but it was still increasing velocities.
I think a lot of people would be surprised to hear that the 6UM is using N570, but again, the more overbore you are, so the larger the case capacity versus the bullet diameter. So big case capacity, small bullet means you're overbore. And that means the slower burning powder, which is the N570, is one of the best powders on the slow side. So whether it's a 300 rum with 98 grains of N570 or a 6UM with 69 grains of N570, it's still because of the overbore calculation there that puts you in that powder.
It is, and it's like people say, "Oh, it's a 16 and a half inch barrel." There's no, it was increasing speed, which tells you it's burning the powder.
Exactly. Yeah. And you also look at your extreme spread. So when we did the test with the 300 rum, I believe it was 94 grains to 100 grains, single grain increments, had an average velocity increase that was the same average between every grain all the way to the top. And then keeping the ESOY did the test.
On the 6.
Yeah, on the 6UM. So in other words, 94 to 95 was an increase of 20 feet per second all the way up to 100, and it was always 20 feet per second. And the ES is your other indicator. So if you were not burning all the powder in your barrel in any given amount or any given length barrel, your ES would be all over the place because the rate of powder burn would also be all over the place. Some powder would be falling out at the end of the barrel sometimes, and sometimes it wouldn't. So your ES would be wide. You cannot get a single digit ES without thoroughly burning all the powder. There are some guys that'll tell you that you burn all the powder in the first few inches, no matter how much it is.
Mm-hmm.
But, I understand why people are concerned with it for sure. But his name is Andre Inouye, a little bit too in the weeds there. Once you're in the right powder for that zone, you're just fine. Now, of course, plus P is a whole nother ball game.
Well, yeah, because that 16-inch barrel was plus P'd, and I think I was throwing out fucking pieces of the throat.
Yeah.
Every time I'd fire it because it was so thin. So.
Yeah.
But why do you say plus P is different?
Okay, so if you take the 6UM, for example, and you are all the way full with N570 in your normal load before you plus P, well, you don't have the ability now to add any more powder. So plus P is going to lower your peak chamber pressure so that you need to add powder to get your velocity back up. If you have no room to add powder, your only option is to go to a faster burning powder. So you may step down from N570 to 565 because now the kernels are smaller and I can fit more powder into the case to try and bring that pressure back up.
Mm-hmm.
So in other words, with the plus P, you need to add powder. If you have no room to add powder, your only choice is to go to a faster burning powder.
Gotcha.
So that would put you out of the zone, right? Like you wouldn't look at 565 first for just a 6UM.
Yeah.
Or for a 300 rum unless you were needing more room for powder.
That's a good explanation. I don't think a lot of people think that through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you got to get there. You got to get to the full point and be like, I have no fucking more room for powder. What am I going to do?
Well said. Last one, Cody Darling.
Cody.
Darling. I'm just throwing this topic out there more selfishly than anything, but I would like to hear you guys go into some late season elk hunting tactics as far as gear, what kind of country you're looking for those elk in. if this was taxes you guys use in general, find and kill elk that time of year. I drew an Arizona late rifle hunt, so I'm trying to pull as much info as I can. Figured it might help some others out too. Well, Arizona is a lot different. I've never hunted Arizona, but
when people say late season, do they mean November?
Late October, November, I'm guessing, maybe into some December.
Oh.
But I don't, if this was taxes you guys use in general, find and kill elk.
That's the voice to text thing didn't come through right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what that means, but this is what I do for elk. And we're going into this month, trying to do two hunts this year in Idaho, Montana, Mason, and then later with 4 malicious. But what I like snow. Like fucking snow matters to me in late season. But one thing I will notice about the bulls I've killed in November is they're generally not going to be with any of the cows. So don't hunt for cows, hunt for the bulls. And they like secondary ridges. And they like secondary ridging with a burn or a clear cut on one side and a north facing slope on the other. So if you can find, and remoteness. If you can find those 3 with snow, you'll find bulls. So secondary ridges, not the main big long ridge, but secondary ridges where there's not a lot of traffic, there's not a lot of other elk, there's not a lot of other commotion. And if you can find a little secondary ridge with a burn on one side and some kind of, cover on the other side, they come over and feed at night. And like I said, you need to be there really early in the morning and really late at night, and they'll roll back over. For instance, for me and Jake hunt these elk in Montana, there's a canyon that's pretty remote, and as remote as you can get in this area. One side is all timbered. The other side is an open old burn. And we have caught elk in there.
Both sides.
Yep. Every time we've been in there, we've caught elk in there. And you're looking for those secondary little ridges that don't have a main trail in the bottom. They don't have a trail going through them, but that would be the easiest thing to tell you.
But for snow, we always talk about we just going to sit around in the beginning of November until something says it's about to snow, and then you go.
Yeah, this year's sucking. I'm hoping for snow tonight, above 4,000 feet, because we haven't heard any where we're going hunting.
Like it's been way, way too warm for late October.
You guys went deer hunting. It was 70 degrees.
70 fucking degrees here in North Idaho.
Yeah.
Yes, that's way wrong.
Yeah, like the 26th of October.
Way wrong.
Yeah.
I think he has a good idea, though. Why don't we, maybe the next episode we do late season elk hunting and just.
Yeah, because there's a lot. We're already an hour 10 in, but I wrote down an article I was going to do for Rockside. I'm terrible with writing articles, though. There's 6 things that I try to do when I go late season elk hunting. Like, I don't want to tell you where we're going hunting in a few days, but I want to, hey, we need it to fucking snow badly. But there's 2 things I look for. And there's really 5 total things I look for. We can do a podcast on that.
Yeah, and talk about that, but also just what gear changes for late season.
Oh, for
me, it's a boot change and things like that. So
yeah, boot change.
Uh-oh. Did you pull the connector out? That's your microphone. It's not your headphones. I can't hear you. Well, I'm going to, yeah. We were about done anyway, so I'm going to close it out here. Ryan's got, what we will do, that's a great suggestion, Cody Darling. We will do I'm not calling you Darling, that's his last name. When I said, for you, Cody Darling, it didn't sound.
Shut me up, you killed my mic.
There you go. So we will do this next episode. We're going to do late season elk, what you look for, what the elk are doing, and also gear changes for late season. And we'll hit it up. So thank you guys.
Thank you.